guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, we can go live.
We were programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. We were programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. We were programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light.
Okay, we can go live. 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 Okay, we can go live.
We were programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. Programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. Programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. Programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. Programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light. Programmed to fight, to kill, and to destroy. Death shadowed every corner of the city. And now, we have returned. This time, we're here to make up for our own mistake, to bring justice to the world, and to turn darkness into light.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Free Fire C Championship Semifinals, Day 1. I am the Hound. To my right is going to be Kenneth, KBC Sensei Ku. What's going on, Kenneth? It's always great to have you here today. And we're going to be casting Free Fire. And it's a game that I'm very sure that you're very familiar with, we're all very familiar with. It's one of the best battle royales out there with close to 450 million players all over the world.
Yeah, that is definitely correct, man. I mean, you know, looking at the scale of amount of players coming into this game, and of course, this is going to be one of the best battle royale games out there. And if you guys haven't downloaded it yet, make sure to go to your Google Play Store and Store out there. So Nick and the Hound, you already know that, you know, there's so many players coming in here, and the tournament prize pool is going to be huge for this particular C Championship. Why not share the information to our viewers out there?
50,000 ringgit is going to be up for grabs for those players, and I think that we are going to be having only one team that's going to be proceeding forward, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Okay, this is actually really interesting.
I think the participants as well is going to be from Malaysia and Taiwan.
Wow,
So
okay.
That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
This is like a nation battle because you're going to have Malaysia not only competing for themselves, but you have Taiwan as well who is entering into the battlefield.
And I think that looking at how the Malaysian and Taiwanese are so into esports, especially mobile esports, it's always great to see a little bit of international, not to say rivalry, but a little bit of tests between each other. Because if Malaysians fight against Malaysians, that's great, yeah. But it's always great to test yourself against international talents.
Yes.
So in terms of gameplay, let's talk a little bit how different Free Fire is compared to other battle royale games out there in the market. So KBC, just tell us a little bit about how different it is and basically how fast-paced Free Fire is compared to everything else.
So before we start the game, let me share you a little bit of information. So first up, I think Free Fire is the only game or in the battle royale game that has a very quick gameplay.
Yes.
Normally it ends around the 10 to 20 minute mark of this particular game. Second of all, comparing to other battle royale games, the weaponry and the armory is very, very key in terms of using this particular gameplay. Now, you know that notice like battle royale games, they normally use double assault rifles, or maybe sometimes they run with a fast and run gun, you know, shooting stuff with double SMGs or shotguns. But in Free Fire, it's a little bit different. Different situations, different scenarios require different weaponry. So if you're going to go with somebody in a close quarter battles, you'll definitely pick up your SMGs and your shotguns. However, if somewhere far, you know, somebody is like around the middle to far distance, you definitely need your assault rifles and your standard sniper rifles.
A big fan of the Dragunov, to be honest. One of my favorite weapons thus far. I mean, it is a bit of a challenge. I know that there are different preferences. I
Yep.
know that stat-wise is not the greatest, but
Correct.
hey, I do believe that you get Dragunov into the hands of a person that's capable of taking those long-range shots. You know for a fact that it's just going to be a bad day on the end of the crosshairs if you're at there.
Yep, and of course the Dragunov is only available in the supply crate, so you
Yes,
have to
exactly.
be very lucky to try to get it.
Exactly.
So, yep.
So anyway, in terms of the Free Fire C Championship, are there any particular teams that you are excited to see perform here today?
Alright, so for those who don't know, we have 2 sessions which we will be showing the scorecard later onwards for all the teams. So we have FF Alpha and FF Bravo. So for FF Alpha, I feel like there are a few teams that come into my mind, like the Evil Gaming, OMR Junior, and a couple of them in here. But the rest of them, perhaps they want to prove a point that maybe this is a stage for them to grow, and hopefully they make a name of themselves. And
So
it looks up.
as we're going to be seeing it here, we are going to be going into the scorecard in a bit, so it's going to come out soon. So KBC, aside from what is the particular thing that you're going to be looking forward to in the first game?
Definitely the loot areas. I think the loot areas in Bermuda and Purgatory will be the key factor for all the players to decide where are they going to land, number one, how much loot that they're going to take, and number two, how do they plan their rotations around the map. Because in Free Fire, the circle is actually pretty painful, or the danger zone. Once it hit around round 3, it's going to be very tough to come inside the circle and keep yourself safe, while the rest of them who had a better position, they are able to knock you down. It looks like we're going to have a call here, Nick. It's going to be fun. It's going to be starting right here. The first.
It's going to be very lit, definitely. I really can't wait to be seeing how these teams are going to be performing. Like you said beforehand, Danger Zone or the Circle or
Correct.
whatever you want to call it, gas or whatsoever, is definitely going to be a very big determining factor in terms of how teams are going to be positioning in the early stages of the game. So as we're going to be looking at what is going to be transpiring here, we're going to go into
Woo.
game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready? We've got 11 teams with 41 alive.
Maybe 42. Three maps of Bermuda, and then after that 3 maps of Purgatory. You can see that they are going to the loot areas as expected or as predicted from our early onwards. You can see some of the teams are going to the more hot zones such as Peak, Kalustiwa, and Hangar, and they're just going to spread out as much as possible, trying not to engage early onwards because the weaponry is going to be very key in this gameplay.
Yeah, I do see that there is a team that is going to be hugging towards the east side of the map as well. So in terms of how spread out a lot of these teams are comparative towards the flight path, it's going to be interesting to see how the first circle is going to affect how they're going to be moving in. Because if you're going to be circling on toward, if you're going to be hugging towards a certain side of a circle, there's definitely going to be an issue because there's either a few things that's going to happen. Oh, but before that, though, we're going to be seeing some action here coming in. OMR Manja now, as we're going to be seeing First Blood going over to them. And we do see OMR right now being hold on and not too far behind. There is going to be another team that is very close to them. A bit of an early contest as they might actually fight it out.
Looks like Caffeine NY gets the first blood from one of the members of OMI, as you mentioned early onwards. And if I'm not mistaken, we can see that team Caffeine NY shot call. He does pick up the M1014. That is a great pick coming in here. And of course, the farm is how know right now, but this is going to be a very interesting weapon to see. Let's move on to OMR Manja. They're going to go and head onwards to this one empty bunker. And this bunker, actually, you can go up and get a clear surveillance because there's actually an entry point on the top.
Yeah, so sidelines is definitely important early on. The fact is that early on you might not have the same access towards long range scope. So the most you can get out in this situation is just going to be a lot of information. Information is definitely something that is going to be useful for you in terms of making decisions on how to rotate. So OMR actually moving into a situation where they might actually be flanked out from their left side if they're not careful, because the team of Caffeine MY is very, very close by. And with the fact that Baichi is actually on lagging behind and might actually be the man to come in from the back and backstab members of OMR Manja.
But they have to be careful as well. Caffeine is going to meet up with another team. This could be a three-way battle. But you can see that Caffeine, they are almost equipped already. Yeah, so some of the members are picking up the tier 1 weapons, which is the Scar and the MP40. Scar, mid to long range, MP40, we just did
stages of the game, mainly because that with extra fire rate you will be able to basically contest. Though I do agree that damage is something that a lot of people want here, but Caffeine now trying to get some of these shots away far distance. Manja now in a little bit of trouble here as other members of Caffeine now taking advantage of the situation and looking towards ending them, as other members of OMR now, Ma as well, Ebo, run away this out with a numbers deficit in their not in their favor.
Unfortunately, right now they lose 2 members already. This is not going to be good because later in the end game, strength is in numbers, or numbers in strengths over here. And Manja, even though he does have the particular, sorry, not Manja itself, he does have the UMP, he does have the Scar. But again, it's very, very hard for them to come back from here because there's only 2 members left, and Free Fire is all about the game, the numbers in here. If you have 1 member, you can trade him off, you can knock him down, but the other member can kind of support you. Now it's going to be 2 versus many teams who have 4 members in hand.
Alright, we're going to be on to Karaton, but not too far off. We're going to be at Rimnam Village as well. We're going to be looking at Evil Gaming MYB.
Yep, I think this is one of the
second
teams. Yes, this is the second team, the junior team in a way. This is one of the teams that I'm looking forward. I think they did try or they did live streams before, so I actually saw them in my news feed. So a little bit of stalking there. But this team overall is a coordinated team. You already can see coming in that they decided that, hey, you know what, we're going to stick to Rinam Village. We're going to loot there. There's a lot of loot over here, and lucky to or their lucky stars, they are able to not face any confrontation comparing to OMR Caffeine during the time.
Yeah, OMR and Caffeine definitely did have a little bit of early contest, which is going to put them in a deficit towards the later stages of the game. We do see right now that it is going to be the circle closing in, as we do see the warning on the top of the screen there. So that's going to actually add a little bit of urgency for a lot of these teams to move into safer positions. They want to be stocking up at as many utilities as possible, first aid kits as well as grenades, mainly because their grenades will actually aid them in terms of pushes and in terms of contesting high value ground. High value ground is definitely something that a lot of teams really need to consider, mainly because that if you're able to get some good ground, if you're able to cover some good ground, then it's definitely going to add to your ability to win a game. Now we're going to be going on to the perspective of Vintage MY.
Vintage MY Kachal does pick up the SPAS and of course the AK-47. So for your information, the AK-47 is the strongest weapon in the game. However, it's a very situational weapon because according to the stats comparing to the other S tier weapons such as the Scar and the M4, the AK-47 recoil is high. I think this is like game knowledge. Everybody knows.
Definitely. I mean, any game that has an AK-47, it just comes with the basic knowledge. And really is dependent on whether or not the individual player will be able to be skillful enough to control that recoil. Because regardless of how much damage a weapon does, if only the one bullet out of 30 hits, then it's not going to be great compared. I mean, I definitely prefer the Scar, mainly because of how easy it is to control compared to the AK. But in the hands of AK Expert, is definitely going to be a very, very dangerous weapon.
Yep, and an AK-47 lands a lot of damage with a headshot, but like you said, it needs to control the recoil. And speaking of which, do you still remember about the scope shooting technique that I talked to you about? So basically, in Free Fire, there is a technique where you basically just spam the scope.
Yes, quick scoping.
Yes, quick scoping. It will auto-aim onto your opponents, of course with the auto-aim system enabled. And after that, you just continue shooting from there. I hope we get to see one of the players who are able to use that particular technique that I can share with you. And unfortunately, the AK-47 is not benefiting from that technique.
Definitely. We do see now some members of OMR taking a little bit of damage. Panjahat from the side of Tiger Squad. Mickey and Eddie right now in a little bit of trouble here as they're going to be tanking that early game circle.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Tiger Squad. I did not know you changed Tiger Squad. You should stick to Malaya Tigers. This is the team that I normally stream with. They have a lot of good members. And unfortunately, just a quick shout out, one of their members passed away due to something like that. But it's all
of another team here. We do see GSC number 11 right there is going to be holding on towards them, as Not Good Kids is going to be holding on towards a very, very good spot. Why? Because when you get elevated position, it's a lot easier for a team on an elevated position to shoot downwards compared to a team on the bottom shooting upwards, mainly because of the amount of coverage.
Correct.
However, it limits you in terms of movement, in terms of moving around. So logistics could be a bit of a problem. As we look at the circle here, is going to be hugging towards Peak as well as Kotatua and a little bit of Cape Town. Karaton is going to still be in a little bit of the circle, but the edges of Karaton.
yes, indeed. Look at that. Tiger Squad, again, big shout out to them, streaming with me alongside that. And of course, RIP to one of their members, if I'm not mistaken, is Avilios. He passed away due to a very bad situation, health situation. But look at that right now.
Member of Tiger Squad, but they've got to be careful that even though they've got quite a bit of elevation here, they have to be careful, mainly because that other teams could actually snipe them out because they are exposed in high ground.
It looks like Tiger Squad only have 3 members as well. Not losing one member in the hand is going to be very detrimental towards them. As Vintage MY, they definitely know that somebody is picking up here, and a gunshot. Ooh!
Oh, Vintage now in a little bit of trouble here as they're going to be trying their best to hold on to this position. We do see Jack as well as Joko Widodo now moving towards another side of the compound here as Yenpai and Kachao now moving away from that situation. We are going to be going on to Patlang team, which is pretty much nearby towards Tiger Squad. So this is going to be very interesting because if they're actually able to spot out Tiger Squad, it could put Tiger Squad in a very bad position.
Yep, Tiger Squad has to reposition as soon as possible. And last that shot, Vintage.
Good little wall there. Goes immediately for the heals. Got to be careful though. Grenade being tossed towards him. Oh, Joko Widodo now taking a little bit of damage as all rounds breaks. Taken down already, as we're going to be seeing Vintage right now putting on to Not Good Kids. There goes the grenade into Not Good Kids compound, and it seems that Not Good Kids right now in a situation where they might take a little bit too much damage, and they have to be careful on how they want to be approaching this situation.
I mean, this is the bad side. If you're sieging one building, you're easily able to get degraded by the opposite team, and you have to really know your spacing as well. If the grenade throws in, what is your backup plan? Do you want to A, go out from the windows, B, go downstairs and reposition yourself? Again, this is all about the attack and defense. I think a lot of battle royale games that we see plays this type of style coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at particular other battle royales, you do know for a fact that holding on to compounds is definitely going to be something that a lot of teams want to be doing. We still have 11 teams with 37 alive.
Oh, fight.
Oh, it's going to be a close range fight here as Newbie now gets taken down, but it seems that there is going to be a fight here. Newbie now, another team member goes down for the count, and it seems that 2 members now are down for the count, with 1 member now slowly being chipped away. It's got to be careful that they don't get eliminated already. 3 members. Cappy now on the losing side, as we're going to be seeing GS team right now going for a very, very quick revive here. Will they be able to get this off? They only have 2 members alive now, as members of Newbie is going to be taken out for the count.
Oh, double kill coming in from Newbie, the final member over here. It's going to be trying to tap out here.